All right, the purpose of this lab is to create volumes, and our first task is to install 2 SATA hard drives in the computer. So we'll expand hard drives, we'll go to the motherboard view. We see a place for hard drives there, so we'll drag 1 and 2. And we'll grab a cable, and let's go in a bit closer, zoom in a bit. See our connectors. We'll connect this just in the same way as the first drive, our boot disk. So we'll click on this unconnected one. Oops, let's not click that anymore. Click our cable again. Drag there. Select another cable. Drag that. And release when we get the blue rectangle. This cable, we'll take the unconnected end and we'll put it here to connect that hard drive to the motherboard, and we'll select this cable, we'll grab the unconnected connector and we'll connect that there to connect that to the motherboard. Now this still needs to be powered, these hard drives still need to be powered up. So we'll click on the power supply and we'll mouse over. We can see that this one is connected, this one is not connected, so we'll power up that hard drive and we'll power up this hard drive. Okay, so they're connected to the motherboard and they're connected to the power supply. All right, so let's go to the front. The monitor is already on, so we'll scroll up and turn on the computer and allow the computer to boot into Windows, and then we'll initialize both disks using the GPT partition style. Then we'll create a volume on disk 1 with the properties listed here, and a second volume using following the instructions there. So we're in Windows, we'll mouse down to start. We will right click and choose disk management, and we want to initialize both disks using the GPT partition style. Both disks are selected for GPT, so we'll click OK. Let's expand the disk management window. Now we want to create a volume on disk 1 with specific properties. So we'll mouse into this disk area, right? And we'll right click. We want this to be a simple volume, so we'll mouse to New Simple Volume and click. This brings up the Simple Volume wizard. So we'll click Next, and we want this volume size to be 300,000. So copied. So we'll paste it here. 300,000, so just a portion of that disk, not all of it. We want to assign it the drive letter of E. Click on E and say Next. File system, we want to be NTFS, which is already the default. That's good. Allocation unit size is fine. We want this volume label to be data. So we'll type in data. Quick format is great, so we'll click Next. We can review our choices: a simple volume on disk 1 of that size and the drive letter of E. That looks good, so we'll click Finish. All right, now we'll mouse down to disk 2 and we'll create the second volume using all the remaining disk space on disk 1 and all the space on disk 2 with these properties. So we'll right click here, we'll mouse here and then right click. We want this to be a spanned volume, spanning what's remaining in disk 1 and all of disk 2. So we'll click New Spanned Volume. That brings up the New Spanned Volume wizard. We'll click Next. We have disk 2 already loaded. We want to add the remaining space in disk 1, so we'll click on it and click Add. Now we have increased the total volume size in megabytes as we wish, so we'll click Next. We want to assign this a drive letter of S, so we'll click to expand the choices and mouse down to S and click S and then click Next. Then we want the file system to be NTFS, which it is, and the allocation unit size of default is fine, and we want to label this volume Art. and we'll click, and a quick format is fine, so we'll click next, and we can review our choices. We're making a span volume from disk 1 and disk 2 of this size with this drive letter of S, and that all looks good, so we'll click finish. And we get the warning that if we do this, then we can't boot from that disk, and that's fine because we are booting from disk 0. So we'll just click yes. All right, that's our disk 0 is our boot disk. So let's see how we did and click score the lab. All right, great. Thank you for watching.